And welcome to the Jay and Rob Toy Show. I'm your host, Rob McCallum, aka Rob McZob, and I think we're going to have a pretty exciting evening for you tonight. Weather dependent, Mother Nature is throwing a bit of a wrench into our plans, so stay tuned with how everything unrolls. Before we dive into any of that stuff, I have to bring my co-host extraordinaire on to the program to help me navigate these uncertain, unpredictable, wild, and crazy waters. He is the strawberry to my shortcake, Mr. Jay Bartlett. There he is.
Hello. That was an interesting way to describe us.
Well, hey, I think last week I said you were the bebop to my rock steady, and we're going. You're the synergy to my gem, my Jerica.
That was guest appropriate. Yeah, this week, not so much. So we got crazy weather going on in Texas. I heard you were just telling me that before we started. It's snowing, so I guess that cripples them, right? That's crazy. Like,
we were in the green room backstage talking about, catching up and whatnot. And I said, it's really coming down in Texas. There is a lot of snow there. We, of course, shot part of Nintendo Quest in Texas, and we went back for the Power Tour in Houston and Austin. And Dallas was part of that as well. And our good friend Nathan is having a lot of pool troubles right now because, of course, a lot of stuff is built above ground and things are not working. And that poor guy, and I know a lot of people in Texas are dealing with rolling blackouts. And if you're tuning in, you may think that, well, hey, these guys are going to have a great special guest on tonight. They're going to have author Blake Wright, who is promoting Volume 3 of his much beloved series, Toys That Time Forgot. But guess where Blake lives, Jay?
Texas.
Blake lives in Texas. I think he's from Katy or in the Houston area, but Blake's not here right now.
And now?
Not so much. And here's the extent.
I'm not laughing at him. I'm not laughing at him.
No, this is like, I joked with him because he had sent me a message, and I want him to conserve phone power because you never know what's going to happen in these emergency situations in cities that aren't really built to handle snowfall and power outages because wind is blowing and ice is on the lines and it's weighing them down. But I'm like, Blake, you did this on purpose. You told Mother Nature to cause that snowstorm so you didn't have to make your appearance. I told him we're gonna talk about his projects, of course, and I always love talking about toy books. We had Chris on last week talking about Rad Plastic, so of course we're still gonna talk about toys that time forgot. And if he joins us, great. And if not, you'll still get some good plugs from us. But how are you doing, brother? Let's get to the goods, the housekeeping with us.
I'm doing okay. As I mentioned, the isolation is starting to get to me, as it is with everyone, of course. I'm getting a bit stir crazy. I've tore apart my house, and as I said, I brought the studio down here for a bigger workspace, and I moved all the games upstairs. And basically, I felt like I've moved, which is fine because there's there's plenty of time to do so. But yeah, I need people. I need my friends. I need to interact, with people. So it's pretty tough mentally. How about you?
Well, I'm doing everything I can to keep sane. To your point of rearranging everything, one of the saving graces I had in January was transitioning from the boiler room look that you can check out on our early episodes of the Jay and Rob Toy Show to actually just spending time and doing this. And I really found that just changing things around at decor made things feel fresh and new and less stagnant. Other than that, man, I mean, you're dealing with some isolation. I made a post yesterday on Valentine's Day because relationships are tough on a normal day and normal times. During a pandemic, they can be incredibly strenuous. I'm very thankful for the kids that my partner and I have because they take our eye off of any of the little ticks that can get on each other. They really take the focus away from any relationship issues we have, and we kind of just want to make sure everything is nice for the kids. So I understand that isolation, that kind of dealing with what's going on in the pandemic and how you're going to get through it. So yeah, it's tough times, but the end is in sight. I'm a firm believer that we're going to come out of this, and things are going to be.
It is, and I'm super hopeful, and I'm a positive guy as you are. It's just you have those days when it's just like, oh god, like and for everyone watching, we live in Ontario, Canada, which is not nearly even close to the coldest point in Canada. However, dude, it's been so cold, like the kind of cold where you go outside and it hurts. Like that just kind of is adding on top of everything, right? It's like you don't want to go outside, and I mean, I had to drive to your place today to get this book, and it was just like, oh my god, it's freezing, and I just
Yeah. Well,
I want
I
summer,
appreciate
man.
the long haul. We used to live much closer to each other
Yeah,
than I do now because I had moved in September. Which, oh my god, you want to talk about hard things to do during a pandemic? Try moving and try
yeah.
moving a toy collection during a
No,
pandemic. Oh god. You just had to rearrange your house in your basement, put different things on different parts of the walls. But imagine packing everything up like by yourself because I virtually did like everything on my own. That was the wake up moment. We're like, do I really need some of these toys? And there are some that are still in their box as a result, Jay.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I just don't need everything that I had.
Look at everyone in the chat. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. And what's everyone saying here today?
So Tommy saying, hello, gentlemen. Tommy from Toy Lines and People of Eternia podcast. Good to see you. The Robot Menace, no Blake. He's out here. Okay, well, it's been nice. Of course, we have our obligatory Blackheart and horns from Lisa. Lisa saw my brief and clunky Instagram live that I did at 8 o'clock just to say hi to people, to drum up support for the show. She
Oh,
gave me
nice,
a high five.
nice.
Motu Joe saying he's rearranging or rearranging things does keep it fresh. Motu Joe, I can't imagine you trying to rearrange stuff. You've got everything's packed so tight and organized and intricately detailed. You have stuff on your ceiling. How do
You
you
know
do it, man?
what's funny about that? Yeah, Joe's stuff is laid out so awesome. It's very similar to the way I do it, straight lines and all that. But this, get back to my house here. This has been the third week of this, and I haven't worked on it 24/7. But when I have, it's taken 3 weeks to do all this, and I think tomorrow will be the final day. But yeah, Joe would have one hell of a time moving that stuff. That's for sure, man.
Yeah. Robot Menace is chiming in again. Yes, he's doing the rearranging and going through storage. Silver Knight, K-A or Ka, Silver Knight Ka, however you say that. I'm sorry, I'm bad with all these handles on the interweb. He's giving us, I think those are smiley faces. I'm going to say something.
It's free. He's freezing. That's freezing.
Is that what that is? I'm not cool. I kind of know like the actual keyboard, how it looks, the buttons. Okay. Rhett saying he loves the vintage AT or the AT-AT box in the fireplace. Is that what's behind you there in the wood?
Right there. I'm so bad with the reverse camera. There you go. There it is right there.
Yeah, there you go. Scott Wads, of course, watching. Thanks, brother. Sorry if you saw at the top, Blake is not with us yet. We're holding out that he's going to try to join us. If he can't, so be it. We will put on an entertaining show. We have lots of questions to get to. And of course, the Silver Knight is taking a break from shoveling snow. Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Jay, are you ready for my icebreaker? I've got two since we've got time.
I am. Let's get on it, man. I'm so pumped.
Let's start with the controversial one, and then we'll segue. We'll use the second one to segue into talking about toys that time forgot. So the controversial one, Jay, you went live a couple days ago on your personal page. It was on a personal page, right? Yeah, on your personal page.
Yeah.
Talking about some stuff happening with Bam Margera and stuff happening with Cara Dune. So I thought I would wrap that up into this kind of what we do on the Jay and Rob Toy Show, and let's talk collecting. Should people be going crazy for these Cara Dune figures? Is it time to buy, or is it hype? Do they need to get this now that the actress Gina? Do you remember her last name?
No, I just remember Gina. It's like Carafalo or Calapalo or Calapso. Or
I'm gonna say Gina, and no offense to the actress, she's a wonderful actress. I don't care what you think of the political opinions. I think she's a wonderful performer.
Yeah.
Hasbro's announced they're not going to make any more action figures of her. They're not restocking. Is it time to get those figures while you can off the shelves? And is it worth paying the premium that we're already starting to see on the secondhand market?
It's funny you say that. So I will, for our spotlight at the end, I will grab another one. But great minds think alike. So this was mine. This is the one it's pushing $300 right now on eBay. The first Black Series, the vintage collection one I have on the wall there too is pushing 150. I don't know, man. So my opinion personally is that I think this figure is going to be worth a lot of money for a very short period of time. And once this news dies down, I think it'll settle down. I don't have any super connection to this character. I thought she was cool. She's a great, strong female in the Star Wars world. I'm always up for that. I didn't find her character anything special, though, to be honest. So I bought the figure just because I collect most of the Star Wars ones. But I don't know, man. What do you think? I mean, if you love Cara Dune, first of all her figures are out of print. Okay, so let's start there. You can't. She's not in any wave right now. This is the old Black Series packaging. It doesn't look like this anymore. The vintage 3.75 is long gone. And then the credit one is the 6-inch Walmart exclusive that's on the vintage card back. I found one in December, but those are long gone now. So if you want a Cara Dune figure, I would suggest waiting. I would.
I completely agree with you, man. I think that the price hike is completely speculative. I just don't see the character being strong enough in the long term of all Star Wars lore to warrant a $300 price tag. I think it'll be pricier than, of course, it would if it was on retail shelves. Almost anything packaged Star Wars goes up in value unless it's Phantom Menace figures from back in the day. It's just not worth plunging into, and I think everybody is so triggered right now to get it while you can before it gets more costly. And there's such a completist mentality of stuff out there that I gotta go get it before it's too late. Well, it's kind of already too late. If you don't have it, you're probably not going to get it at a cheap price. So for me, it's if you want it because you think it's going to be more pricey or a good addition to the collection because of the rarity, I think you should wait, sleep on it for a bit, let it even out a bit. But I also think that season 3 of The Mandalorian or these other shows are going to affect the value as well, even though that character obviously won't be a part of it, or the character will be recast. And of course, again, we'll have an adverse effect on it. And Tommy was throwing out there, Gina Carano is the name. Thanks for throwing that out, Tommy.
Yeah, I was just going to say 300 was that 2 weeks ago. No, that was a couple days ago. I actually looked today, and there's one selling for 250, 300. It's crazy. This one in particular was never a peg warmer. This one was always kind of difficult to find. But the vintage, you know what a fan I am of the vintage line. That was a peg warmer, which is hilarious. Like she sat around on store shelves for a long time, and it was kind of like TIE fighter pilot or something. It was just one that nobody really wanted, and she sat there. And now it's crazy, and I think it's I don't know, man. To see her go from a peg warmer to now, it's just like when people can't get something anymore, they really lose their minds. So it goes to show you guys, if you're thinking about getting any Star Wars character, you never know which ones are going to spike up in value.
There's nothing like conflict. There's nothing like conflict to drive people's desire for something. The second it's gone, people want it. Dude, I remember when Kurt Cobain passed away. Man, all of a sudden everybody was a Nirvana fan. Like an Unplugged, everybody had to get that in the 67 to 94 T-shirt because at that point he was gone, and it was like almost okay to like him instead of the controversial lifestyle they did. It's the same thing with this.
Well, we were a lot younger back then, so I remember you, me, and our buddies Mike and Ferg. We constantly had to prove to other people how hardcore we were with our knowledge. Man, we'd be pulling out all the B-sides and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, do you have the Lithium B-side? Well, not as big a fan as I am.
Have you heard Outcesticide 3? Oh, you haven't?
I was just gonna say, have we changed much? I don't think so.
No. It's we just keep adding on and coming up like that way about other stuff. So
I would say everyone out there who genuinely wants a Cara Dune figure, like you said, Rob, you kind of missed the boat now. Scott says here that he saw half a dozen at Walmart. That would be the credit collection, which is the third one in the tier that's worth the least. But I would say just hold off for a few more weeks. Once this dies down, the news dies down and it blows over like it always does, the prices will go back to normal. And then people probably won't want it by then. Who knows, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting, like you're saying, the credit collection, which it doesn't have the numbers on the side, correct? It's more of just the image.
It's the vintage. Like airbrush. I'm so bad with this reverse. Okay, so it's like these ones, the vintage backs, but they're 6-inch. right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And it comes with actual credits on the top.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Well,
and the
there you
card
go.
back art is, the production art they show at the end of the episodes, like the concept art. That's what
Yeah, yeah.
that's what the pictures are. So it's kind of
Oh,
cool.
that's cool. Well, I like that even better then. That's the one I would want to get for sure. Follow-up question, Jay. If we were filming action figure adventure right now and you're building your ultimate action figure auction, is Cara Dune original Black Series release auction worthy? Is that a piece that would go in the auction?
Well, I would say yes, only if we were doing the auction like next week. But I really think the bottom's going to fall out. I think this is just a trend right now. Everyone wants this figure for the, what's happened. Whether you side with Gina or not. So if we were going to do the auction next week, yeah. But if we were going to do the auction traditionally like 8 months later, no, no.
Now
That's just my prediction.
you've got to figure though. Do you sell your Cara Dune figure in order to increase your auction budget because you can make more money now? And if your prediction is right that the number will come back, you could buy it later and still pocket the difference.
Okay, I'm not that kind of collector. I think if a figure, listen, I think if a figure genuinely goes up in value, like something like, I don't know, like Darth Revan or something that's always expensive, just because they don't make a lot of stuff for that character, sure. But I'm not going to take advantage of this awful situation that's happened. Um, Again, whether you side with her or not, I just wouldn't take advantage of that and put her up for 300. Yeah, of course you can make some serious money right now, but I wouldn't do that. Would you?
You see,
Dare I ask?
I don't see it, Jay, as taking advantage of a situation. I see it as a way of helping other collectors who have chosen, a number that they want to pay for something, and I'm happy to not have an
Oh, okay.
for it.
So you're gonna
I'm
sell it for
letting go.
$29.99 retail. What you paying
No,
for it?
if they're willing to pay whatever for the noble cause, then so be it. The noble cause of collecting, and if they want to pay whatever the amount is, I am happy to part with it for the sake of their
Yeah,
shelf.
there you
Hey, they
for
want
their
they want to live that shelf life, and they want to put it up there, and they feel better about forking the dollars over, and they get that instant gratification of I bought it, I got it, I'm a winner. Then that's okay. I will help them achieve such a sensation. What
I
do you
would
think?
like to do a poll. I don't know how we would do this, but I would like to know like an honest answer from people if they want it because they genuinely like the character or it's just because it's a trend in the toy community right now is this figure.
Well, let me tell you this. I went pretty nuts with season 2 of The Mandalorian, with things on pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store. I couldn't find her in the 6-inch black series. I couldn't. She was the only one that I couldn't get. And then when season 2 ended, I had to reevaluate some of my purchases and where I was at with my collection. I was again starting to set up the display behind me. Where do I have stuff? Am I really gonna invest in Star Wars and just keep it to the Mandalorian, as was the conceit that I had kind of built around for me to be able to collect Star Wars. Finally, I'm just going to stick to the Mandalorian because that's what I can do. I abandoned in that and I canceled all my pre-orders, even stuff that I had paid for.
Oh
And,
wow.
and part of that, I will say, is because I couldn't have her part of it. Now, I wasn't as big a fan of her role in season 2 as I was in season 1. I thought she was a little bit more badass than just kind of being a sheriff in that town, kind of
Yeah,
just hanging out. Like,
it's like one they really portrayed her as that strong female character. And that's what was really cool about her. Like she beat the crap out of Din, right? Like she was really, really cool. And then two, yeah, in season 2, she was just kind of a background character. She was just like one of the gang, which was what I didn't want to happen. You know, Grief Karg is part of the gang now. Karen, he was just going along collecting this posse. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, I had no special tie to the character, so it sucks. I hope they don't recast her. I hope they just kill her off or whatever, or find a way to make her exit. But everyone wants Lucy Lawless, man. Isn't she like got to be like 60 or 70 by now?
She doesn't look like it. I'll tell you, she's looking really solid. She was in the
Cool.
Evil Dead TV series. I think it finally finished a few years ago. They had 3 full seasons of it. She's looking great in that. Like you would never know the difference. But I mean, why recast if you can just create any awesome, cool character in the Star Wars galaxy, right? Don't do that if you don't have to. Have they ever
Well,
recast a character in Star Wars other than Han and Lando? I guess.
well, the Solo movie had a ton of them. Yeah. Off the top of my head, yeah, Bib Fortuna has been played by a bunch of different people. You know the important character,
I guess Boba Fett too. Yeah.
Boba Fett. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's Well, I wanna revisit this next week, and we'll see. Just real quickly,
Okay.
we'll see where the prices are at for Cara Dune and that kind of good stuff. But it's crazy.
We have a ticker at the bottom of our screen, Jay, and it mentions, of course, to like and subscribe to our show. If you're on the audio side, leave us a review so we can know how we're doing. But it also helps let people find it if we get more reviews. It also says we have a Patreon page where you get extra laughs and shows per month. But it also says something new this week. It says
Ooh, it's right there.
you have a chance to pre-order Action Figure Adventure on Blu-ray exclusively at Big Bad Toy Store. Now, last week we teased a bunch of big news, and before that we had posted online that big news is coming for Action Figure Adventure. And then last week we kind of put the pre-order up for this after we kind of showed some product demos of this. This isn't the big news, but this is big news.
This is big news to us as toy fans. I think. I mean, I gotta admit, when I went on the page, the Big Bad Toy Store page, and I saw our show and the pre-order button, I screen capped the hell out of that. Right? I just, we've purchased so much off there, and Big Bad Toy Store is probably the best online toy store in North America. And for us to have our show, you could purchase our show there. Man, it was such an achievement for us, and I'm just so humbled by that. It's so awesome, and that they believed in our project. That's killer.
It's really awesome that, like you said, we have our show listed on Big Bad Toy Store. Shout out to Cole. Miss you, brother. I hope you're doing well in Arizona, if that's where you're still calling home. Cole did some awesome art of Jay and I and our friend Glenn as action figures when we were back in the GamerCast days.
Yeah.
Big Bad Toy Store. I mean, that's my go-to place when it comes to toys, hands down. That's not taking away from Entertainment Earth or Megalopolis or other places that are out there that I've used before. But Big Bad Toy Store, their pile of loot, we talk about it all the time on our show here. It's just phenomenal. And I don't know why, but it was cool to see those DVDs in the Blu-ray case there with like Cartoon Jay and Rob, as I call them, just in the
Yeah,
Thunderhawk.
it's one of those surreal things for me. Going alongside, and I think you'll agree with me here. The first time we were in Texas for Nintendo Quest, and when we saw Nintendo Quest on the marquee of the Alamo Draft House, that was another one of those moments. I took a picture. I was just like, and you have that, don't you? You actually have
it. So.
Yeah. When we saw that, and I was like, holy shit, man! Like, it's really real. We were beside, like, it was Pixels, I think, Adam Sandler's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, dude, that's so cool. So this was right alongside that for me as one of those big achievements.
One of those we've made it moments,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I will say there is more big news coming. And I don't feel like I have to say anything now because you've got a little bit of big news, everybody out there. But know that there is more big news coming. The details are still a little murky, which is what I kind of said last week, which is why I held off on saying any big news. And then this kind of happened in the interim, which is big news, but not the big news. So it's big news, but there's more news.
There's some really great news, but I'm so used to not saying anything. It doesn't even bother me anymore. I'm just like, you'll say it when it's time.
I can only imagine, like, because you know what's happening. And several things that are percolating, and You probably just go on Facebook because half the time I don't even like message you. You
No,
probably
yeah.
just go on and see that you've been tagged. You're like, oh, I guess that's coming out now. Well, here we go.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't. It used to bother me a little bit with Nintendo Quest. It doesn't bother me now because you're busy. I'm busy. You can't message me on every little thing. I think the really big things you tell me about, but yeah, I'm again. I feel like if I was to be cast in a Star Wars film, I feel like the same kind of agreement that those actors have, where they can't say anything, they can't talk about anything. They go on Conan, they go on Letterman, if it was like 10 years ago, and they can't say anything. So it's like, why are you even on the show? You can't talk about anything, right?
I will say that I didn't know that Big Bad Toy Store was going to put up the link when they did. We had been
Mm.
talking, and I had sent them some stills and some screenshots, and we talked about the price that it had to be, and that it was going to be a Blu-ray, the 2-disc set. But I didn't know when it was going live. It wasn't like, okay, let's go live now for X number of days or weeks. It was just like, here's the assets, and I thought, okay, we're gonna put this up on Friday, or we're gonna put this up on Thursday. It just went live, so I was kind of like, well, I
Yeah,
better share it now that it's out there. This is a thing that's happening. So if you want action figure adventure, we will not have a lot of Blu-rays. In fact, we are only doing a run to cover our Kickstarter backers first and foremost. All the authoring and everything is done. It's been uploaded. We are literally waiting on manufacturing numbers. And the Big Bad Toy Store component of it happened because we were looking for a retail space, and it was a bit of a kind of flyer like, hey, would you stock it? And they said, well, we don't know how it's going to do it. And I said, well, we're kind of waiting to do numbers on the Kickstarter stuff. They're like, well, why don't we just do a pre-order instead of committing to it? And
yeah,
so they didn't have to buy units and sit on them if they didn't sell, and they didn't have to be sold out instantly if they only bought a few. So it was a good happy medium, just to see how it would go as an experiment. All that to say, if you're not a Kickstarter backer and you're a collector and you want a copy of our series on disc, a physical copy, this is likely the only time that you can guarantee to get one. Because once we put our order in, we're only going to order enough to cover all our bases and get to the closest price break where it's like every 50 units or so, and have a little bit left over in case there are defects or something gets broke during shipping because it goes to Texas and it's frozen and it shatters upon arrival. There's not going to be a lot. So now is the time to act. Again, go to Big Bad Toy Store, search Action Figure Adventure Blu-ray. You'll find it. Just do it, okay? That'll be a huge help to us. It really helps us get to season 2. And everybody that's watched it in Canada is like, when's season 2? Is it going to come soon? Are you guys shooting it yet? Can we watch it again next December? We are trying to get season 2.
yeah. It's really not that easy, right? It's a lot of money that goes behind all that, and Rob and I wish we could go out right now. Even if there wasn't the pandemic, put that aside, we wish we could go out and do that right now. But things have to transpire, things have to take place, and before we can even start to think about that, it's something we want to do. Absolutely, of course, we want to do it. I think it was such a blast to shoot that, and all for children's health. So win-win.
We've got big plans too. More big news of what season 2 would be, but maybe we'll talk about that next week. We can talk about that next week, what we plan to do for Action Figure Adventure season 2, if we can get there. And again, ordering the disc now. Scott has put it in the chat there. I'm just going to copy and paste. I can't even copy and paste it right now, but there it is. Everybody on screen. You can't click it, but you can see it. It's a real listing. Jay, I want to ask you a question about unproduced toys.
Yes.
Since our guest stood us up tonight because of snowfall,
Poor
is
Blake.
there a line? I know. People show up on the show and they get picked on, and he doesn't even get to show up on the show because of snow and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is there a line of toys, Jay, that you wish had at least one more wave, or that you know of that you wish that thing came out that you heard about?
Yeah, the stuff.
Sorry,
Yeah,
you dropped out. You dropped out on me for a second there. Did we
the
have
night.
some snowfall here in London?
Oh God, we have since October. The 1986 Kenner Star Wars stuff. 85 was pushing it as far as figures went, but George was kind of whipping his hands. He's like, okay, I'm going to move on with other things. But Kenner still wanted to. It's very profitable, obviously. So they still wanted to make it. They made all these little mini vehicles and rigs where the toy designers actually designed them themselves. And there's a lot of this cool stuff. There's like X-wings with like double cockpits and stuff like that. And ultimately, all the prototypes were. It's not that the designs were bad. It's just they didn't want to do any more Star Wars stuff, and then that's where Mask came in. I would have liked to have seen the '86 Star Wars, and a bunch of there's a bunch of unproduced droids, the cartoon droids figures. That would have been really cool because they were really beautiful, colorful figures too.
I find so much stuff from 86 to like 89 that didn't get produced. It's like not only like some of our favorite lines, but are just cool additions
Yeah.
that, oh man, what a cool toy. If it only could have been. And of course, my answer is going to be the Powers of Grayskull stuff. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the storyline kind of going back in time to pre-Eternia with dinosaurs and all that, but there was some really cool stuff. I just love the logo for the Powers of Grayskull. Of course, we got the Turbodactyl, and we've got I think it's the Binops, the Triceratops that came out as well, and maybe the T-Rex. But the Dilophosaurus was like this mammoth thing. It was like a vehicle, like almost like a troop transport thing that didn't come out. But that's what ties into the giants. Megator and Titus and Hero and all that stuff. So the story, not a huge fan of that, but I like that they were starting to do a subline of Masters. Wasn't meant to be, didn't take off. So
yeah, that's cool. I mean, should we dive into this book or these two volumes? Do you want to do that?
Yeah,
or do you want to save that?
yeah, let's do it. So Jay and I both have a copy of Toys That Time Forgot. I've got volume 2. Jay's got volume 1. And after we give one example, we're going to go to the campaign for Blake's volume 3 of Toys That Time Forgot. So Jay, in your Toys That Time Forgot volume 1, there is a lot of cool figure lines that Blake lays out very well. And if you haven't seen what these books look like, folks, they're just full of great interviews, anecdotes, and images. There's some Battletoads stuff there, for example. But Jay, I asked you ahead of time to single out something that you wanted to talk about from the book. What did you pick? What did you pick?
Easy. Do you have a guess at what I'm gonna pick?
I'm guessing something with Star Wars or Sectars.
Yeah, you're right. So this is Stellara. Oh my goodness. Oh, this book is heavy. All right, easy. Okay. Stellara is not only the only female character that they kind of made a few of her. There's been a few going around on eBay over the last decade, and so it's worth a ton. But there's an entire second wave of Sectars, and this book documents it all perfectly. But this is Stellara, and she's just so friggin' cool looking. Sorry for the glare. The Sectars line is only about 10 to 11 figures in the whole entire line. The cartoon was only 6 episodes. So that one stuck out. There's just a ton of Sectar stuff up here. Here's real quickly. Here's all the mounts and stuff that didn't get produced for the Wave 2. So these, of course, are... Oh, I'm so bad at this. The ham puppets here, and then the little mini beasts here. This book documents all of that great stuff. And I wanted to ask Blake, he's not here, but I wanted to ask him how much of this he actually got to go hands-on with. Because there's a lot of sales pitchers here, pitching to the different retailers and stuff like that. But I wonder if he got to actually touch like Stellara and some of these Star Wars characters like Vlex from Droids. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's super exciting stuff. And I'm right with you. You love this stuff, I think, a little bit more than I do. Because when I look at all this unproduced stuff, I get kind of sad a little bit. I'm like, oh, damn, I wish I could have that Stellara figure, but
it's so exciting though. Like it excites me because like it's out there, and I feel like there are a few examples of unproduced toys that have made it back through either fan projects or homages. Like in volume 1 that you have, you can see the original Dark Crystal action figure line, and that was essentially reproduced as an homage by Super 7 in the reaction style. but the sculpts aren't the the normal 3 3/4 kind of stiff, 4 points of articulation. They actually look like that that line was intended to be. So it's really cool that it actually did see the light of day. Of course, with a little bit new modern tooling and sculpting to some of the parts of it.
Yeah, I mean,
but it excites me to see what could have been.
there's a whole second wave of droids figures here. Just some great, colorful characters. And Vlix, I'm so bad at this. He's right here. There's a company that makes that figure that you can buy. He's worth about $100, even though it's a reproduction, right? Because he wasn't produced. I like to see stuff like that. So if there was a company that did Stellara, I would get it, even though it's not the actual one. But just to have, that
just
piece
like
of
the
history.
rocket firing Boba Fett, right?
Sure.
Like they never made a rocket firing, but there were fan ones out there. I want to give a shout out to Cole, who's watching. And again, we mentioned Cole's an awesome illustrator. He's done some artwork for us before. He just ordered Action Figure Adventure on Blu-ray from Big Bad Toy Store. Thank you so much. You rock, my friend. We will catch up. Take it easy, buddy. Cheers.
That's awesome.
For my pick, Volume 2, I'm going to go with Superpowers. Try to there.
Yeah.
So right away, you can see some alternate designs of Firestorm back there. A little hard to see, but let me. Okay, Jay, this is where it gets real exciting. So look at this. So there's the Dark Side playset.
Yep.
That never came out. And there's some vehicle concepts over here as well, like for Superman's plane and jet and a cat crawler vehicle.
Superman's plane.
Yeah. Probably something we didn't need.
I've seen the box art for Darkseid's castle online before, man. It's so wicked. Oh, look at all that. Oh, Deathstroke.
Unproduced figures. Bizarro in there as well, Jay.
That's wicked.
Oh, man. So many cool figures that could have been. Wonder Twins as well are in here. Wow. Supergirl, of course. And more unproduced figures to the point where we actually get some sculpts and some test shots done. Wow. There. Yeah. So seeing all that was awesome. And look, Jay, there's some Inhumanoids here for you as well.
Oh, yeah.
You're a huge fan of.
Yeah.
So you'll have to borrow Volume 2. Or if you want, Jay, you can get Volume 2 and 1 from the campaign that's going on now. So let me just add this to the stream here, and I'm going to switch over so you guys can take a look. So as you can see, Blake is really close to his goal for Volume 3 of Toys That Time Forgot. He's like 3/4 of the way there already. It's been named a project that Kickstarter loves. It's an art book, of course.
Good for him.
And like we said, he's in Houston, Texas here. He's got some pledges over here. I'm a backer already on this. Let's see here. Late to the party, you can get Volume 2 and 3. You can get a couple Volume 1. You can get art prints. Yeah, you can. There's a lot. You can get, I think, Volume 1, 2, and 3 in this campaign right now, which is great because when Volume 2 ran the campaign, I didn't have Volume 1. So I was able to kind of do a double up. And it looks like here are some select spreads. So V, you can see that. Skeleton Warriors is another one. I think that's Playmates that did that. And Superman Lives, almost lives, as he calls it, because it's Kevin Smith, Tim Burton, Nicolas Cage, and the toys we missed out on. So I can't wait to see what those toys would look like.
Yeah.
And he's even offering a figure here of Toxic Crusader that never came out as well. So I think that we're going to break at least one or two of these stretch goals. I remember when I backed Volume 2, the Superpowers chapter wasn't in it just yet, and that was part of the Golden Age. So hopefully we get to 50,000 so we can get another kind of 80s line. The Darker Times is the 90s, as he calls it, and the Gilded Age is the newer stuff. So I'm hoping that we can do this. But back it now. These books are awesome. I look at them all the time. They're a great coffee table book. And Jay, I mean, you just picked it up and you're finding cool stuff. And again, maybe there's ways to bring some of this to life. Maybe we can all make this together. Get one of these cool projects and kind of crowdfund one of these. It could be a fun thing to do.
Yeah, the amount of work that he's put into this is just remarkable, and it's nice to it's a light read. So there's only a few sentences on each thing, so he doesn't try and overwhelm you with every stat about. He talks about sectars and the little brief history of Coleco and Cabbage Patch Kids and the system and all that. But it's not overwhelming. So anyone, if you're just new to toy collecting, you don't have to know everything to read something like this. It's really awesome, and it kind of holds your hand through the whole thing, right?
Yeah, Rhett's saying he's got to have them. He really likes that Dark Side play set. It is truly super stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of superpowers. If I was going to start collecting a new line, like legitimately hardcore, it would probably be superpowers. One, they're plentiful. There's some cool, rare stuff within it that kind of gets it exciting. I think to have fun collecting a line, you can't just have like that one grail. You need a few pieces that have interest and intrigue.
Yeah.
And so superpowers, it's not too big. There's some cool stuff in it. It would be a fun line to collect, I think. So if I was to do it.
I'm with you there. At present, I only have Green Lantern. It's my childhood Green Lantern. I still have him. But what I always loved about superpowers was the colors. That I don't know, just Kenner killed it with those. The colors are just so vibrant. And again, I'm an old school comic guy. I don't read comics now, so that's the way I like my superheroes to look, like the 80s, right? That's how they look to me, especially Batman and Robin. I think those two figures in the superpower line are the best. It's the best Batman figure out there. And the Batmobile, we always talk about the Batmobile. It's so wicked. That thing's awesome.
The only superpowers I have right now are Batman and Robin, and of course they were our good friend Jordan Morris. They were his. He traded them to you. That people that have seen Action Figure Adventure will know how that went down. And then you and I made a deal for those two figures very specifically, and you got a better deal out of it because it was all going to charity and stuff. But it was important for me to have those figures, and again to know they were coming from Jordan. So it was a cool thing to do.
Absolutely.
What do you say? What do you say we get into some questions, since I don't think Blake's going to be able to join us for the final 20 minutes here?
Let's do it. Yeah, there's a ton you said, so I think we should clean that up. And,
our good friend Danny, who backed Action Figure Adventure on day one, and of course Sean is saying make sure you grab AFA Action Figure Adventure on Big Bad Toy Store like her friend Cole did. Danny, has a lot of questions for us. Let's hope Captain Power makes it into Volume 3 of Toys That Time Forgot. There you go. Let me give a shout out to all our Patreon backers first. So Tim, Nathan, Bill, Matt, Jay, Danny, Ryan, Chris, Scott, Billy, Ben, Kyle Nelson, Rodney, Nico, and Adam. And as of today, one more. We want to welcome simply Plunderlings. Plunderlings is the name of the account.
Welcome. Yeah.
Plunderlings. I looked it up to see if it was something unique, and it was like these weird sprite troll things. They're toys. They had some Kickstarter projects, so maybe somebody associated with the Plunderlings is now backing us on Patreon. So it's cool to have you part of that. And if you want to be a member of Patreon, you get an extra show a month plus some extra content. And if Blake does connect and power gets restored, even if I got to do a quick one-on-one interview and put it out there for everybody who wants to back the campaign, we will do that, because I'm sure we're not doing his new book justice. But Danny wants to know, Jay. Oh boy, Danny. If you could be part of the planning for one toy line where your input would be absolutely incorporated, which would you pick? An existing line that you're a fan of, the relaunch of a dormant IP, or help come up with an entirely new property? So you get to impact a toy line. What toy line is it going to be? Something that's gone? Something that's new? What do you think? What a great question.
What a great question. Tough one, though. I would like to do both. I would like to have...
got to pick one.
Let me just talk through it. I would like to have input on Star Wars 100%. I think they need a huge course correction. They're getting better, but to rebrand something, I always want to go to Mask. I said this on my stream on Saturday. I have this fear that they're going to modernize it, like they did the G.I. Joe movie, and it's just going to be this mess. So I would like to see Mask, if they continued it in 1985, 1986, if they kept it in that timeline. I would also like to see, a toy line and a story based off of Action Figure Adventure. I think that would be pretty fun. A couple good old boys and a couple good old boys in the Thunderhawk cruising around getting toys for charity. I think that's one hell of an idea. What do you say there, Robbie boy? Like that one?
Yeah,
Like
I
that
mean
one?
that would be interesting. And when you and I have talked about, okay, what are we going to do for a season 2 Kickstarter campaign if we get to the point that we can do it? Can we do action figures? Because we have so many collectors out there. It kind of is a time. It's like, Jay,
Yeah.
I can't afford to do, tooling on action figures for us. So I don't think
Yeah.
that is going to happen just quite yet, my friend.
Uh,
It's so hard because, like you said, Mask, man, that's a line that we love that didn't get the love it deserved back in the day. How do you go to? I mean, I kind of want to say superpowers because if we could bring some of those designs and characters out into the forefront, that
yeah.
would be great. I know there's a ton of custom superpowers out there, but I don't laugh. Dick Tracy could have been done so much better than it
Look,
was,
I
and
don't
even
want
though
to
it's a
hear.
one-off movie.
I don't want to hear any more about Dick Tracy, and I don't want to hear any more about Captain Power.
So, okay, I'll
Every
take the Captain
episode. Hey, my buddy Stuart is in the chat there. Stuart runs Trek Yards. I was telling you about him. He's the professional Star Trek dude. Yeah.
So this is where I was going to go with this, like to do
Yeah.
a Black Series or a vintage line of Star Trek, like
Yeah.
proper, where you get like every character like that's in 10 forward from Next Generation. You get the 10 forward set. You get like everything Star Wars level treatment of Star Trek. That's what would be my pitch for like a new IP.
Isn't Stuart? You're probably able to answer this more than we are. Isn't McFarlane still doing that? I think McFarlane has the license. I can't remember. You know what I was thinking?
Yeah, you said that a couple episodes ago, but I went to look and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking a few years back. I was thinking, what about a Black Series style Indiana Jones line? How great would that be?
We talked about that on like episode 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, an indie, like a good indie line would be great. But hey, how about like an actual Joe line that's like 3 3/4? That's not just retro throwback. That is new with a new cartoon and stuff. That would be nice.
And that's the problem with bringing back Mask or bringing back Inhumanoids or any of these small run toy lines and cartoons is that if you don't have that show to go alongside it, it really does affect it. And I think even us adults, we want a story with it, right? Like that's why I think the War for Cybertron is just crushing it. Because you have that show to go alongside these amazing toys. What's Stuart saying?
He's saying a Black Series for Trek. No, McFarlane has stopped with Trek. So yeah, there we go. I think it's time that we got that. I mean, it is one of the biggest shared universes out there before crossover universes were really a thing. Everything between Next Gen, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, just phenomenal stuff, and of course the movies. I just think it would be such a hit. I mean, there are a ton of Trekkie collectors out there. They just love. My brother Chris is a huge Trekkie. He just loves that stuff. And if they were cool, I remember there was 8-inch or 12-inch figures 10 years ago, something like that. They were a little Mego-esque. I don't know. I can't remember. They weren't quite Mego, but that all that stuff would be just fantastic.
So what about a dead IP? What would you bring back if you could bring back like Inhumanoids or Mask? Like what would you pick?
Well, I mean, I'd say Sectars, but I mean, it's kind of back, but it's really more of a fan service line because they're not like the original figures at all. It's more just like a remember these lines with the 3 3/4. I'm glad they're out. It's cool, and I love the packaging, but it doesn't feel like Sectars. It looks like Sectars, but it doesn't feel like it.
See, I'm the opposite. I got Prince Dargon, and that was the only one I got because I don't think they're that great. I mean, I don't.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
you bring a Sectar out without the mounts. That's like making He-Man without Battle Cat. It doesn't make any sense at all. So we'll see. If they.
But is that a dead IP or is that like alive? Because I feel like, they did Wave 1, and then they did Wave 1.5, and then they did Wave 2 now. So they're eking out a few more characters because there's just enough fan demand for them. But their 3 3/4 figures are like $35 US.
They're ridiculously priced, and you're basing it on an IP that only had a 12-issue comic run and a 6-episode cartoon. So we already don't hardly know anything about Sectars, right? So without a comic or a show right now, it's a little tough to get excited about them, to be honest.
Well, let's just say that a show, a comic, or some other built-in media IP would be a companion piece for the sake of this question. If we're doing
Absolutely.
Mask, there's a cartoon, movie, video game, or show. If we do Joe, so on and so forth. Like Masters of the Universe, we have Origins without any tie-in. We have Masterverse coming, which is tied, of course, to the Kevin Smith Revelation show.
Yeah.
And there's going to be another He-Man cartoon coming out as well that is CG, and it doesn't look like the Origins figures. The Origin figures are like a throwback, nostalgia, weird island, I guess.
It works though. One, the Filmation stuff is free on YouTube, right? You can watch it anytime. Yep. You can show it to your kids. And the new Origins figures are basically throwbacks anyway. So it works because you still have, I mean, how many episodes were there, Masters? 65, 95?
130.
130, sure. So you have just a huge well of stuff to pull from. So that works, where Sectars was 6. It was basically one story, and that was it, right? So He-Man
Tommy's saying... Yeah, Tommy's saying Dino Riders are cops and crooks. I mean, you got to throw Visionaries up there. I thought Visionaries was very strong as an idea. But cops and crooks, just like Joe, same thing. I think those are all good ideas. I'm trying to think if there's something... I mean, even Turtles. I would love to be part of Turtles because that would be great to sit there and figure out what the look of the Turtles could be, the line. Again, I'm all about the playset. So being a part of something like Turtles would be just a phenomenal experience. And I mean, it's evergreen. You've got Hot Rod 86 and you've got some other Transformers figures that are specifically tied to the movie. Give me like 3 3/4 G.I. Joe scale articulated Transformers from the movie, just the movie, and maybe the 5 episodes after the movie too.
Yeah.
And then, that would be awesome line as well. If we're going
to this 6-inch, sure, I guess there's no real size because they're actually just scaled to each other, which is cool. But they come with I did a review on Hot Rod, and he comes with basically everything that he uses in the film, aside from Daniel, and that was my only complaint, was that he should have came with Daniel. But he comes with the saw hand, the visor comes down, and Cup comes with the Energon goodies container. He comes with this gun. It's so awesome, man. So they're doing that right.
After we saw the Ultimates Optimus Prime come with Spike, of course, we need Daniel to come with Hot Rod. So hopefully they rectify that somewhere. You want to get into action figure spotlight? Well, we have 10 minutes or so left.
Yeah, mine's just over here. So let me grab that because I already spoiled it with the Cara.
Yeah, so you take a look at that. Yeah. I'll entertain everybody that's in the chat. So what is going on? What do you think Jay's going to get? I'm going to bet it's G.I. Joe. Let's see what it is.
All right.
What is it? Is it G.I. Joe? That's what I told everybody in the chat it was going to be.
Oh, no. Do you want me to go first? I already showed Cara. Okay. No, this is one I'm actually in the midst of shooting right now. So anyone who saw my post on Friday, I don't buy a lot of comic book stuff because I'm not going to go into all that. Anyone who knows me knows why I don't really like the Marvel movies and all that stuff. But this is my second Marvel Legends figure, and it's based off the Infinity Gauntlet. And I'm going to be that old man and say the real Infinity Gauntlet story from 1991. This is Thanos of Titan, based off of the Infinity Gauntlet, the actual comic book. And when I say the real story, I mean, yes, Lady Death is in the picture there, which was kind of the whole purpose behind what he did, was to impress her. And I can't believe they never put Death in the Marvel movies. But I saw this guy, and I'm like, yep, that's the Thanos I remember. So again, I guess it's kind of what you grew up with, right? Like I like Spider-Man from the 80s, and I like the way Electro looks from the 80s, right? I don't like this new modern interpretation of the characters. I guess I'm getting old, dude. I don't know. Anyway, this is going to be on my channel tomorrow, guys. So if you're interested in a big badass Thanos, I'm super pumped to tear this guy open.
That's awesome, and the gems are right on top of the package too, at the top there, which looked super cool. Again, I looked at Thanos because I have a couple Marvel Legends. I've got a couple Spider-Mans. Superior Spider-Man, and I've got Doctor Doom, of course. I'm not a huge collector of Legends, but I saw that. I go,
Same.
oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Surfer is a Walgreens exclusive, of course.
I saw one.
Walgreens is a pharmacy in the U.S. and it's a new release that just came out of Surfer. Anyways.
Is it it's the Black Surfer with Thor's hammer? And I
No,
have
this
that
is
one?
like an actual like
Okay.
Silver Surfer, like proper.
Because I came
Silver
across
Surfer.
so when I got Thanos, I'm like, okay, well they've got to have either Adam Warlock or Surfer. I don't think they have Warlock, but the Surfer I came across, I researched it. He was all black, and he came with Thor's hammer. It was from some other alternate timeline thing, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, I don't know what that is, and so hey, I don't mean any disrespect to Marvel fans. I stopped reading like in the early '90s. Danny says he got a Infinity Gauntlet poster framed. That's wicked.
And now he's saying he's going to go get me a Surfer. Then, well, if you find two, Danny, hook a guy up, man. Hook a guy up. There wouldn't be a lot of Marvel Legends I'd want, but Surfer, Thanos, and of course Warlock would be one of them.
Yeah.
With today's show being about toys that time forgot, I kind of picked a toy that I wish time had forgotten. So, oh look, Stan Buck, our good friend Glenn, is in the chat saying Black Surfer with Mjolnir is from the Thanos Wins comic.
Oh, there you go.
Well, look at you, Stan Buck, creeping in on our cast and filling in the blanks as we need them. Always there to get our back. I love it.
Glenn, real quick, is that an alternate timeline, or is that like an alternate reality or something? I've never heard of it. Anyway,
maybe about a 10-second delay, so he'll chime in a second and cut me off, but that's okay. So I picked a toy that I kind of wish that time would forget. No, it's not Dick Tracy. No, it's
Thank you. It's not Captain Power. Thank you.
This is a Masters of the Universe figure. It came out later in the run, and it's because it's part of the Snake Men.
Oh,
and it's an action figure adventure, and it's just kind of dumb. And that's Squeeze. Like, it's just
look at the arms go wow. They fall down.
It just does nothing for me.
That is the stupidest He-Man toy I've ever seen.
Like, in the head doesn't really look like a head. It's like much more like a dino head. You can kind of see it against my jacket there. It's just
he doesn't even look like he's part of the Masters line, except the legs. The legs are what give it away.
Yeah, and he's got the snake symbol, but like the Snake Men were never in the cartoon. They were kind of thrown in just at the end. There was Snake Face, Tongue Lasher, Squeeze, and this you're supposed to wrap around your figure, or you can, because it's the play feature, and it just
that's
is
that
expensive,
new?
Of course. For me,
did you just buy that, or did you order?
No. I had to get it when we were shooting Action Figure Adventure because we were showcasing play features.
Oh, right?
In Masters particularly. So that's when I got that. Glenn is chiming in again now. The story is largely set in the future, but it features the Thanos from present Marvel continuity. It's the same storyline that introduced the cosmic Ghost Rider, who's in virtually everything now. Because of course, I don't know. It's already too complicated for me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for. You know what? And to get closer on Thanos here, the head here, I don't know what that is. So that's probably from, I think I read that's from that Ghost Rider story you were talking about, Glenn. Because I don't know what that old man Thanos head is. I'm going to have to research that before I review it.
Yeah.
But, interesting. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the show for this week, folks. Sorry that Blake couldn't be with us. But hey, you know what? Stuff happens. We've got lots to talk about as always, and it's nice to have Jay, you to talk to, my friend. It's nice to get back to it. I mean, we are booked heavy with guests. It's been a blessing to have lots of people on, but it's nice to just step back.
Yeah, I like the back and forth. It's really great having guests on and just being a part of such a wonderful community. It's a lot of fun, but I love it when we get to make fun of each other and go back and forth and that kind of thing.
I didn't even wear a scarf. You know that? I have my scarf over here, but it just didn't feel right to do it without Blake. But I hope Blake has a scarf because he's going to need it where he is now.
He's going to need it. Yeah.
like I said, if I get a chance to connect with him and everything gets sorted, we will try to do a little quick one shot out there so people can have a look at his book and hear from the author, the man himself, all about Volume 3 of The Toys That Time Forgot. I want to thank everybody for watching. Of course, comments and everything is always super helpful. I love your questions, even if it's the same thing about quit mentioning Captain Power and Dick Tracy every week.
Yeah.
Jay, where can people find you on social media? And do you want to tease anything that's coming up other than your Thanos review?
Nope, I keep it pretty secretive when I'm doing. So Thanos will be tomorrow, and after that you have to wait and find out. But it's Jay Bartlett on YouTube, not The Exorcist, but the less popular one, the long-haired kid. That is me. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. I put something out there. I'm almost at 1,000, and that's a big milestone in YouTube. So thank you to everyone who subscribed over the last few days. I really appreciate it, guys. And thanks for watching me talk about toys. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's just my name, Jay Bartlett. And one last thing before I go, don't buy this online. Don't pay $200-$300 for this kind of crap, guys. Just don't do it. If you love the character, wait until the dust settles. There.
And you can find me, Rob McCallum, at Rob McZob on Instagram and on TikTok and Twitter. You basically just get a lot of show highlights these days, which is okay. I do have another project that I did announce called Faking Filmation, and we are kicking up the promotional machine for that. It basically looks at the history of Saturday morning cartoons, the rise of Filmation, the pioneering animation studio, which of course brought us He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and how all that dovetails to Mr. James Eatock in his quest to create and release his unofficial fan cartoon, The Return of Faker, despite impending legal threats that would cripple any of us. More coming on Faking Filmation. I can't wait to tease more. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/fakingfilmation. You'll see lots of stuff there. But until next week, we always end the show the same silly slogans.
You always add one.
What? No, I don't.
You always add on the end.
Maybe.
Yeah, you do. What are you going to add this week?
Well, what are you going to add? Are you going to add something?
I don't want to add anything.
All right. For the love of toys, in the warmth of scarves, take care of yourself.
For the fashion of scarves and each other.
For the warmth of scarves, take care of yourselves.
And each other. Jerry Springer.
Because the best time of day is playtime, everybody.